Welcome to another video. This one's going to be a how-to video. We're going to be fixing the ignition switch by replacing it because I broke a key off into it while I was wiring the fuel pump for my 88 Mazda RX7. All right, so I'm gonna start by saying that we're gonna be going through this in real time together because I'm learning this. I'm pretty much just figuring it out as I go. First thing you're gonna wanna do, I don't know that it's super necessary, but for us, it's easy. For these cars, it's pretty simple. Take off your steering wheel. This is yours. Yours should be tighter than this. Yours should have the horn on, or the airbag on it already and stuff. I already took all that off. Take that off. Pretty simple. And now in front of us is this little thing, which is much easy. This is much more easy to get to all this. We are going to have to be taking this whole thing out, so it's not necessarily the easiest or the fastest job, but it's one that has to be done because, like I said, our key broke off in there. And so what we've been doing to get power in or to start the car is literally using a screwdriver. So as cool as that is, low key, we're gonna change this thing out. So first you're gonna take the steering wheel off, and then, all right, so to take this off, you're actually gonna have to get into here, 2 bolts there. Yours should have one there as well, and then I think one there too. Yeah, or no, there shouldn't be one there. I can't tell. I don't know, check all the holes. These two definitely, this one definitely, that one I'm not sure about. And then this just this just pops off. So take the 4 bolts out, separate them, pull it off. All right, so this is our new ignition. I'm just gonna show you this first. Brand new. That one was feeling a little sticky, so I was getting a little bit worried about this. The nice thing about this, $300, you get a new ignition. It comes with all the wiring all done nicely, and it comes with 2 keys. I only had one for this car, and now I have 2 keys, and they also still have this plastic piece around the edge. Pretty nice. Atkins Rotary, they sell these. Atkins, should cover that a little better. Atkins Rotary sells these, so $300. It is like model and year specific, obviously, so make sure that you get all that right. And this shipped to me in like 2 days, so we'll go ahead and this is it. It's pretty much just that. We gotta unplug all the wires underneath, take these 2 bolts out. The issue with that is, as you can see, that's in the way, so we gotta get that off first. So to do that, we have to remove these top 3 screws, and then there's 2 more screws down here on this side, 2 more on that side, and then we'll see how easily it slides off, or if there's more to it than that. I believe that's all it is. That's all I can see from the outside, so we'll go ahead and pull those all out and then see what's next. All right, so once you got into this point where you can kind of lean it out, we're gonna go ahead and unplug everything from the back of this. It's one of those things that's kind of just worth doing because it makes your life way easier, and it doesn't take too long to just figure out where the plugs plug in and where the button to press is, and pull them out and remove this thing, because now got a ton of room. Okay, let me preface this again. I have another RX-7, but that one's gonna be like a push to start, all kinds of like dumb stuff, race car stuff. I've never had an RX-7 street car like this until recently, so I don't know these chassis very well, but I would imagine that this is supposed to be an Allen head. That is what the new one shows. That's not an Allen head, so I'm gonna have to figure something out to be able to get this off. Another thing that I was thinking also is, if you wanted to not have to touch any of this, you could go under and undo the 2 bolts down there, and then the 2 bolts up there, and just drop the column down. I guess that is another option. You'd still have to take all this stuff off, but if you don't want to take off this main piece here with all where the plugs were plugged in, that's another option. Anyways, so I gotta figure out what the heck I'm gonna do about this, because we need to get this off, and then we need to unplug all this wiring. So I really don't have a clue I also drew this line because I don't know what it's gonna look like underneath. I don't know if, you know, there's something that is gonna be there that's obvious, or like if I am just gonna have to guess where to put it. So I just drew this line along this, ran my pen along that, just so I know exactly where it was and I can just put it in the same spot. But I do need to figure out that situation. I might have to actually look it up and see if that's normal or what, but hopefully not. All right, after a couple minutes of research, these are indeed headless bolts, and we get to be creative on how in the world we want to get them out. So I think I am going to drop the column a little bit because I don't want to have to take all that out. And my first thought is drill a groove in it and put a screwdriver in it and tap it out. They're basically a rivet type of thing. Stupid. This is dumb. Anyways, I'm gonna drop the column a little bit. That way we have some more room to work in here without like cutting into our dash on accident, even though it's in bad condition. I have another one for that car that I'm probably gonna put in this one because that one's gonna just get like a custom sheet metal dash. But also I like this whole blue interior thing. Okay, I'm getting off topic. Yeah, so I'm gonna drop the column down and I'll let you know what size bolts those are, so you can do that too if you want to. All right, so I only did these top two, or these outer two. Gives me plenty of room to work on top, so we're just gonna leave it at that. But those were both 14s, so 2 14s, one on each side. There was a ground connected in here that I had to undo, and yeah, now we're gonna go ahead, and now that we have room, we're gonna figure out how exactly we want to tackle this. I thought about just getting a cutoff wheel and going right down the center of that groove, and that's kind of, honestly, I might just do that because I know a lot of people aren't really into using those, but I'm like pretty comfortable with one. But if I have it, I might as well just give it a shot and do the top here because that's a little bit easier of an option. It still is using the cutoff wheel, but it's easier. We can use it like a screwdriver, or with the screwdriver after we do what I'm thinking. So let me show you how I'm gonna do that. All right, so like I said, grinder with the cutoff wheel. I grabbed one of my smaller wheels. It honestly barely fits without holding the column down, so I'm gonna have to press it down with one hand, cut with the other. Essentially what I'm doing is I'm gonna put a groove right down the center of this. It's gonna end up getting into this bracket. That's okay, we're not reusing any of it. The only thing that I really need to worry about is making sure I don't hit this. I might unplug it and then bring this over, but it's pretty far out of the way. If I hit that, then I'm doing something wrong. Anyways, we're just gonna put a straight line down the middle, and we're gonna turn this into essentially a flathead screw. So we'll just have to unscrew it. And I mean, hopefully that works. I honestly don't know if it is threaded somehow or not. I really don't know, but if that doesn't work, we're just gonna cut it off from the side. So hopefully it does work. Safety always. Another thing, I don't care that much about this car because we're replacing the carpet and we're replacing the seats anyways, and the windshield's cracked. So like, I don't really care to like shield or to protect any of that stuff. But realistically, if you have like a nice car, you should put something on like to block the sparks from hitting the windshield. I've got my hatch up. The hatch is good, so we're keeping that. So I got that up, and that'll be spark free. The only thing I'm really worried about is the seat and the carpet, and it doesn't matter because we're gonna replace them anyway. So it's gonna get messy, it's gonna get loud, but it's part of it. So here we go. All right, well, I think that's aluminum because that was really easy. So it honestly cut really quick and easily. That might be aluminum. I'm gonna try and unscrew it now. Let's see, this is what I was talking about. Like, this is now a flathead screw. I'm gonna try and unscrew it. If it doesn't work, this was really easy to cut through, so we'll just go in through the side if it doesn't work, but hopefully it does. Oh yeah, it's spinning. I don't know if it's spinning off, but it's spinning. Oh yeah, see, how do they do this at Mazda? I don't know what tool does this, but somehow they got these on with 0 bolt head. It screws on and off. So this is the easiest way to do it. If you have That's hot. If you have like a little handheld, like 90-degree one, that'd probably be way better. But I have one, but it's at work, so kind of just got to make do with what we have at home. And this is what we have at home right now. As you can see, it's working perfectly. Gonna get this thing off, and it's just gonna fall and hang by all the wiring, which is lovely, but I'm recording for you guys, so worth it. Boom. All right, so just like that, I was right about this part, unless maybe the new one just backs right up to that. I don't know, honestly, but regardless, you should just mark this. It makes your life easier. So anyways, now what we're gonna do is clean up all of this nonsense real quick so it's a little bit nicer to work in, and then we're gonna start getting to this electrical. Mine is a little bit worse than probably most of your guys'. I bought this car and I was actually told it doesn't start with the ignition switch, or with the ignition. I don't know why, but I'm gonna assume that somebody was messing with the wiring because this is all taped up. This is actually one wire going to two. See, I don't know. We're gonna have some stuff on our end that is gonna be harder than probably your end. Most of it from Atkins Rotary should just be plug and play. So hopefully it's not too hard for us. And then again with this, they actually convert it to a nut, and there's also an Allen head if you ever have a weird issue. I'm as annoying as that is, it unscrewed really easily once we did that. So make sure you get a good deep cut into it. Like these, I mean, realistically, this went pretty far down in there. So get a good deep cut into it, and then it should just unscrew really easily. I didn't even use like a big screwdriver, so happy with that. It's not, honestly, like we're most of the way there already. All we got to do is unplug all that, plug that in, and that's going to screw on way faster, and then put it all back together. So not too bad. So the easiest way for you guys to do this, if you hate wiring, is to bring your new one down here, unplug one, look at the colors, plug the new one right in as you go. So just do one at a time. It's going to make it way easier for you to just go methodically through it and not mix anything up, even though by the looks of it, yeah, none of these plugs would plug into the wrong one. But if like, this is just gonna be easier. If you hate wiring, this is the easiest way. So I'm just gonna unplug it because I'm not worried about it. I'm just gonna unplug them all and then get them all back in. Pretty sure this angle is gonna be totally off, or like a really weird picture of me, but it kind of gives me, I'm able to use the light from my phone while recording, so might as well. So like I said, you're just gonna go under here, right under the dash, and unplug everything. They're all pretty easy to unplug. One of these, like, literally, I don't know what they were trying to do. They like skipped the plug. It's like they bypassed the plug with all the grounds, brought all the grounds into here, and that's probably why it wasn't starting, because they brought 5 grounds together and ran them to this one tiny little ground. So again, I don't know what they were doing. I don't know what they were thinking, but luckily for us, it doesn't matter because we're gonna redo it all. The black and red, instead of your typical push down, or I mean like a little tab, this one has a tab that slides into a little opening, so you have to kind of push it down with a screwdriver unless you got fingernails for whatever reason. So yeah, there it is. The old one's out. Let's go ahead and throw the new one in. It should just go right in with everything, even with that dumb nonsense that they had going on there. Like I was saying, none of these should go into the wrong ones. They should only plug into the one like corresponding to them. So it shouldn't be something that you could really mess up. So far, that's proving to be the case. There we go. Just like that. So technically right here, before you go any farther, technically right now, we can stick the key in and make sure that we get power. So I don't actually have a battery in this car right now. So I'm gonna go rob it from my dad's Camaro. And then I'll do that before I go and put this back on and put everything together and then test it. You might as well test it here while you can, while you still can access everything. So plus for us, being that they had all this weird nonsense going on, I want to make sure that it works now rather than having to deal with it later. So realistically, I think it'd only show like a few things, but oh yeah, solid. This spins so much easier than the last one too. Granted, I was using a screwdriver, but even when I was using the key, it was sticky, and this one just really nice. So anyways, now we can go ahead, swing it back up here, put it on, slide this column back up, and then just put everything back together. Okay, so I realize this does have to go in a specific spot. As you can see underneath, there's that little slot there. That's for this. I don't know exactly what it does, but once you put the key in, it goes flush, and then when you turn it, it goes down like farther into this. I'm gonna assume it has just something, it's just part of the wiring, and it's a trigger for the ignition on. I don't know, but either way, it can only go in one spot, so I guess marking it doesn't help too much, but it helped me. So either way, that's what we're doing. Put it back on now, and then once it's on, I will tighten these screws into it. Way easier. I think these are a 12. Okay, I know what that little pin thing was for. It's a lock for your, so your steering wheel locks, obviously. Put the key in, flick it, and obviously you can turn. So that's what that little cylinder looking thing was. But yeah, so get everything back on, get your steering wheel back on, hook up all your stuff, make sure it all works again, and you should be ready to go. So I mean, I'm just gonna make sure it cranks. I'm not gonna try and start it because it's late and this car's not quiet. Yep, so everything works. Everything should work if you did what I said. If you have any weird issues down below with the wiring, leave them in the comments. I will be able to send you pictures of anything if you need. And I sorted anything out down there that was like weird wiring wise. So if you have any questions, let me know. If you're into RX-7s, I have two. This one's a street car, drift car. We're taking it to the track on February 28th. If you want to see that, subscribe, like the videos. I'm trying to do once a week. This is a different video than I normally do. Typically we're doing just like cool stuff or showing you what we're doing, building stuff on that car. But for this, I thought it would be a good video, an easier video to make real quick. This is like not even an hour and a half of work, so it's probably less than that if I wasn't recording. So anyways, I'm trying to get one video out per week for the entire year of 2025. So far we're keeping up with that, so this video should drop tomorrow. If you guys like RX-7s, if you like LS motors with T56s and full wise fab and crazy fabrication, this is your channel. Subscribe. We have fun. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing if you do. If you don't, you should. Leave a comment if you have any questions, like I said, or you can DM me on Instagram. It should be linked in the bio on this. So yeah, thanks for watching.